Hey love, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to jump right into it. Today's video, we're going to talk about 6 different reasons why you should lock your hair while it's short. 6 benefits. How can you resist? Let me tell you, I see a lot of people say, oh, I want to wait till my hair gets long so I can lock it, so I can do more things with it. Or they may have a relaxer, or their hair has, a lot of heat damage, and they decide that they want to keep it just for length. And they say they want the length to style, but then when they get the locks, they do absolutely nothing with their hair. They're not styling it. They're not doing anything. So do not wait till your hair gets long to lock it. Let me tell you some of the benefits of locking your hair while it's short. Now, I'm not trying to be biased because y'all see I like short hair. I've cut my hair several times because I love short hair. And I also enjoy locking short hair. However, if you want that length to lock your hair, if you want to lock your hair, when it's long, and it's fine. Now, if you're starting off with unhealthy hair, some of you guys know y'all need a trim. Some of you guys know that some of that length needs to go because it's damaged, but you guys are holding on to it, and it's no benefit to holding on to it. If anything, it causes more problems when you are eventually lock. I've had people commented on previous videos I've made that they say, oh man, I wish I would have trimmed my hair before I locked, because when it did lock, it became uneven or whatever. And some people say, oh man, I wish I would have trimmed the heat damage part off, because it was limp. It did nothing when it locked. So some of you guys are waiting on length when you could have already gotten started and reap the benefits from day one, and your hair growth. Let's get into these 6 reasons, okay? Let's get into them. So benefits of starting with short locks. I'm looking at my computer screen so I can stay on task, because y'all know I like to talk. I like to talk, and I can be very wordy, and I can go on and on and on, which I'm doing right now. So I'm going to stop and stay focused, okay? But the first benefit of starting with short locks is, number 1, the cost, baby. It costs less to lock your hair short, okay? People who are locking, 10 inches, 20 inches, they coming out the pocket. They are coming out the pocket to lock all that hair. And as a loctician, I don't blame them, because it's a lot of work. When I see people come in with long hair to a consultation, I'm looking at them like, we 2-strand twisting, right? We braiding, right? Because baby, I ain't about to interlock all of that. Because depending on what type of locking you're doing, interlocking takes time. It is time consuming. I love to interlock, but baby, some things just not worth my energy. So locticians will charge you to lock all that hair. Some won't even charge. You know why? Because they refuse to do it. Some people cap off like, I'm only locking up to 6 inches and that's it. Some people will not lock beyond 10 inches. Some people wouldn't even look at you at 20 inches, okay? So it benefits you to lock shorter because it costs a whole lot less. And you will have more options when it comes to locking. When it comes to locking with short hair, you have more options because you have more people, more locticians who are willing to lock your hair, because some people do have a cap on the length that they're willing to lock. All right. Okay. Number 2, not only that it costs less, it's a quicker install time. A quick install time. Most people with short locks, I can lock your hair from between 4 to 6 hours. That's by myself. If I am tag teaming, baby, we're looking at 2-3 hours tag teaming on short locks, depending on what size we're doing and so forth. Listen, as a loctician, yes, I would lock your hair all day. I will lock all day when it's going to just take me 3 hours. And for you, you don't have to sit there that long. Your behind ain't hurting. You're not needing stretch breaks. You're not being held hostage. I mean, and you can just, okay, I'm just going to end it right there. It just quicker install time, okay? All right. The third benefit for locking short hair is that short hair, especially short, tight, curl, or wave pattern, locks faster. short hair locks faster in the beginning phase, it locks faster. You don't have to go through the whole, oh, I'm 2 years in and I'm not locked. I'm 3 years in and I'm not locked. You don't have to go through all of that. With short hair, man, you can lock as early as 3 to 6 months with short hair. Reason being is when the hair is so short, it does not have a lot of room or a lot of traveling, meaning shrinkage, to go through. When your hair is long, your hair, when it starts to lock, it locks from the tip and it works its way down to the root. The new growth is always the last to lock because that's the new part constantly being locked all the time. Every 6 weeks, we're locking about half an inch of your hair. So every 6 weeks, you have new locks or, a new area locked coming in. So that part takes longer to lock. So that's why, side note, when you go to cut your hair, when your locks are mature and you go to cut your hair, we always say don't go too low because that part is the, newly locked part, so it will unravel easily. I've, recently cut my hair and colored, so I have some unraveling. But when you lock your hair short, you don't have all this, distance to travel to lock. Whereas when it's long, because it's starting to lock from the tip, it has to work its way all the way to closest to your root to lock. So when you have it long like this, it's starting it. First of all, when it's long like this, if you have a lot of shrinkage, if your hair is here, by the time you lock, it's here, right? It's now a bob. So some of y'all holding on to this length just to get a bob. Because it's gonna be a bob, baby. Because baby, that shrinkage is real. It will shrink into like a bob, and then it has to keep shrinking to lock. So short hair just lock faster because if you have this much, ain't got much to shrink to. It's just going, all right, I'm locked now. Let's start growing. So that's my take on that. Now, if you have like a really looser wave pattern, curl pattern, it may take a little bit more time because it's looser, but it's still going to lock quicker than somebody with a long hair, loose curl pattern, okay? All right, so that's number 3. It locks faster. Before I go, if you are a loctician and you need more help with your locking business, if you need help with whatever it may be, increasing your business, increasing your speed, getting more clients, gaining more knowledge, understanding all of this stuff that I'm constantly talking about on social media, join my membership program because on there is nothing but, y'all thought my YouTube channel is a wealth of information? Join that membership. Join my membership team and see for yourself what you could be getting and how you can take your business to the next level. I love to help people and I love to help people grow. And if you got a business and you got a locking business and you're not growing and you're not where you need to be, come on over on this side, okay? It's less than $40. So what you pay in that membership, you get 10 times fold in your business. Like not even 10 times fold. It's like you get it back, okay? You get it back and more. Number 4, you have less slippage when you lock with short hair. And even if you do have slippage, baby, you don't have to worry about too much about extra slippage costs, because if it's just this one lock right here and it slip, your loctician is so quick to put that lock back in because it's not a lot of length to work with. So even if you do have slippage, it's not a lot of work to put it back in, unless the whole thing comes out. But that's the rare with someone with a tight curl pattern, because I recently, there's a client, she had like an inch and a half of hair that we locked, but her curl pattern was tight. So she washed it without bundling, and she washed several times before her, 6 weeks appointment. And baby, the only thing we halfway lost was that first row in the back. Everything else was intact. The benefit of locking short hair. So we had few slippage, and in some cases, no slippage for some people at all when you lock short hair. Yeah. I'm not saying no slippage. You have fewer slippage. And sometimes, yes, no slippage. All right. All right. So that was number 4. Number 5. The 5th benefit of locking your hair. Short. Less shrinkage. Less bunching. Because when it's short, as I explained earlier, it has less room to shrink. It doesn't have a long way to travel. So therefore, if your hair is this length, right, and it shrink to about here, you have less shrinkage. Whereas you have some people with longer hair, you see that shrinkage a whole lot more because they have more length to work with, and then if you have a looser curl pattern, that's a whole nother story. And some people have more elasticity in their hair. That's a whole nother story. So when you have short hair and you're locking short hair, you experience less shrinkage and less bunching, and sometimes no shrinkage and no bunching in some cases. Okay. And the final reason why it benefits you to lock your hair short is because you get to see length a lot quicker. You get to see length retention. Everyone, when you're locked, you get length retention, but for the most part, you don't see length retention until 3 years in, because the first 3 years, your hair is transitioning. I can't talk. Transitioning, and it is going through so many different stages that you don't really see the growth. Other people may see the growth here and there, but you won't really see the growth in that first 1 to 3 years. Because it's shrinking. It is shrinking. It is shrinking, baby. It is shrinking, and it is doing everything it needs to do to lock. It is matting, because that is the goal for locks. It is for it to lock. So in order for it to lock, it needs to mat. In order for it to mat, any type of loose area, open area, whole area, it is going to shrink up to just create that compact lock look, right? So when your hair is short, you have less of that going on. Because you have less shrinkage, you're able to see your length a lot more. And sometimes people with short hair, you see in 3 years, you're like, how you get that long in 3 years? It is because they had less shrinkage, they're able to see more of their length. And in 3 years, you see that, wow, their hair done tripled in its length. Whereas someone with longer hair, if you started, here, and then it shrunk up to here, in 3 years, you're not going to be back here. You're just not. Because in 3 years, you're probably still going to be up here. So you see less of that length. Whereas someone with a shorter, with short hair, it shrink up so little, it's barely, it's very little shrinkage. So then as it grows, you see more of that length. So have I convinced you now to lock your hair while it's short and stop waiting for length? This is not to discourage you from not locking your hair with length. If you have length, lock your hair. But if your hair is short and you want to lock, but you're just waiting for you to have longer hair, don't do that. Just go ahead and lock it. But if your hair is already long and you didn't even think about locking until now, and now you're like, oh crap, I want to lock my hair. Oh, I got all this hair. Keep your length and lock it, okay? But don't be if you have that short hair, I'm talking to you. You got that short hair and you're like, oh, I got this twa, and I want to lock my hair, but I'm not going to because I don't want to look ugly. I don't want to go through the ugly stage. I just need more hair on my head. I just need a little bit more length. I want to be able to put it in a ponytail. Baby, the things you complain about, all of that could have been avoided if you had just locked while it was short. And by the time you get that length to do what you got to do, you're like, oh, okay. All right, so if you decide to lock your hair while it's short and you are reaping the benefits of what we just talked about, please hit me up. Drop a comment or something. If you have locked your hair while it was short, and you've experienced some of what I'm talking about, drop a comment. Let me know. And if your hair is short and you're not locked and you want to be locked, but you're still waiting, let me know in the comments what you're waiting on. Let me know in the comments what you're waiting on. Don't worry about how you look, because I'm telling you, when you lock your hair, you thought you were gorgeous now. Baby, when you lock your hair, it's a whole nother level of confidence and gorgeousness that you feel. I'm going to let you know right now, okay? So tell your friends and family, watch out for you, because you're about to be on 10, baby. Okay, so go ahead and lock your hair and stop waiting on length to lock, because there's so many more benefits to locking while it's short. Okay, all right, love y'all. See y'all next time. Check out my next video.